Bought house. Old owners were cheap. We bought a house a couple of months ago and the sellers insisted that we pay several small fees that are customarily covered by the seller. The total was $187, and in comparison to the house price, we weren't going to walk away over something so small. We renovated the house, and there was a table/credenza thing that had been built into the entryway. After demo, we were planning on throwing it out. When one of the neighbors noticed we had put it outside to be thrown out, they texted the old owners to see if they wanted it, as it was something they said they had loved about the house. The old owners texted me, since we were getting rid of it anyway, surely we wouldn't mind if they came by and picked it up instead. I told them interestingly we had recently gotten an offer from someone else to buy it. For $187. Since it was theirs originally, I told them we'd be happy to part with it. For $188. They dropped the check off and picked it up a week later. Take the car I paid for. Good luck finding the dead fish in it. When I was 15 I began working, and by the time I was 17 I had enough money to buy my first car. Me being young, when my egg donor and stepdad said they were titling it in their name for insurance and registration purposes, I didn't question it. 6 months later, they're divorcing. When the divorce is finalized, my egg donor informs me that my car, that I paid for, was going to my ex-stepdad in the divorce, since it showed it joint property between them. I was furious. The car looked nice on the exterior, but burned through a quart of oil every 2 days, and drove like crap, but it was still my car. The week before my ex-stepdad was due to pick it up, I quit putting oil in it. I drove around town extra that week. I was that smoke cloud in town of burning oil. To top off my revenge, my friend had a goldfish die. It was a pretty big fish, 3 to 4 inches long. I asked for it. The morning of the car being taken, July mind you, I cut the yellow foam beneath the passenger seat. The foam was sticky, abrasive, and resealed easily due to the stickiness. I cut the foam, and stuffed the dead fish into the padding, and pushed it as far over as I could, then the foam stuck back together nicely. He showed up with his girlfriend was the mistress, thus causing the divorce, and he made a big show of giving her my car as a gift to her. I just smiled. I wish I knew how well the car went over, hours later, in the hot July weather, but I can imagine. You say dogs barking is just what dogs do, huh? I had a neighbor that had a dog that, I shit you not, barked from about 7 p.m. till 5 a.m. non-stop. They worked nights, I believe. They kept it outside. I knocked numerous times, and they said,
"Dogs bark, what do you expect?"
Their house was directly behind mine, we shared a divided wall. I recorded their dog for a full day. The minute they brought him in, and felt like they were sleeping, I popped my phone into the dock and played it on my stereo full blast facing their yard at 9 a.m. They came over raving mad to my wall by about 12, asking me to shut my dog up. I said, "It's your dog, I recorded him, since you miss out on what dogs do. I'm just playing the radio at normal allowable city time and I will do this every day." They started bringing the dog in at night after that.
Landlord always keeps security deposits. Game on. Many moons ago, after my divorce, I saved up enough money to move from my apartment, a building with 12 units, and buy a house. I was really excited and told my favorite neighbor. He told me not to even bother trying to get my security deposit back, because the landlord never returned security deposits. I turned in my notice. The landlord didn't bother to do a final walkthrough. After 30 days, I emailed her and asked about my deposit. No response. I filed a small claim court case for the deposit. This lovely lady's strategy was to hire a lawyer, and bump it up to the next higher court. Most people quit after she bumped it up to the next higher court. I had some spare time, and have always loved a good game of strategy. I double-checked with the court to make sure I could represent myself, FYI anyone can. I then sent a certified letter to her attorney asking for a full disclosure of the evidence being presented. A huge thank you all those TV shows that explain what full disclosure is. A week later I received a call from the lawyer called asking what I wanted in order to avoid court. Settlement accomplished. The petty revenge. I let my neighbor how to get his deposit back when he was ready to move. He let the other tenants know how to get their deposits back. Steal my desk? Be annoyed for 30 seconds every day. In my last year of my industrial design degree, I scored a paid contract at the Australian Government Scientific Organisation. Although I was only in 2 to 3 days per week, I was shown into a large empty office, and told I could base myself there. The office was normally used for students, but as I was the only one on this project I had the whole office to myself, with about 6 desks. Naturally, the first task is to find the best desk, and put it into the best position. Since I was going to be there for a while, I stuck some posters of my project on the wall, behind my desk, and even brought in some retro decor from home to add a little personality to my part of the boring brick cavern. All went well for a couple of weeks until a few other students moved into the room. Although our paths rarely crossed as they were working on other projects, 2 of them were perfectly reasonable, and set themselves up on other desks. The third, who I will call Jerkwad, because that is probably his name, decided he liked my desk. I should point out that all of the desks were the same, and mine had no better a view than anyone else's. Mine had my stationery on it, my posters on the wall around it, a clock, a telephone, all were mine. In fact, the telephone wasn't even plugged in, I just brought it in because it was an Erica phone and they look cool. So one day I come in and Jerkwad is sitting at my desk, while the other students were at their desks. My stuff was packed up and pushed to one side to make room for his stuff. I made some comment about it being my desk and his response was, "Yeah, I won't be here for long," or some other blow-off. To pursue it further would have made me look really petty in front of the others since all the other desks were the same. I set myself up at another desk that day, although over the next few days I could tell my stuff had been moved around, and unless I got to the building by a certain time he would steal my desk again. Unfortunately for Jerkwad, one of the things I brought from home was a talking wizard talking calculator clock. It was a cheap gimmicky thing like you would see at the markets. Basically a black plastic box with a button. When you press the button, it would say it is 9:05 a.m. When you opened the box there was a calculator, and when you pressed each button it would say the number, and read out the answer. Unluckily for Jerkwad, the clock also had an alarm. When you set it, it would say beep 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 it is 9:05 a.m. beep 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 it is 9:05 a.m. and would keep repeating this for 30 seconds very loudly. I set the alarm to go off mid-morning, put it in my desk drawer, and locked it. For extra pettiness I also changed it to the wrong time. They were sturdy desks. 1940s era, made from silky oak with inlaid green vinyl tops. It is not possible to dismantle them or open them with a different key. I then took the key home and didn't come back for another 3 working days. When I returned I sat at my desk, opened the drawer and turned the clock off before it could go off. When Jerkwad came in he saw me and said,
"Can you turn that bloody clock off? There's something locked in the desk and it scares the shit out of me every day and won't shut up." I was about to smash the fucking desk apart with an axe.
I said something snarky like, "Sorry, it does sometimes go off when other people sit at my desk." He never stole my desk again.